Greetings. I see you've found your way to the dark outpost. Welcome, Patriots. I'm David Zublick, your host on this excursion to the darkest outposts of the human mind and beyond. Thank you for being with us this evening. We appreciate it. We have a great show coming up for you tonight. For those of you that are Dark Outpost Inner Circle members, in just a little bit, we'll be talking, as we do every Wednesday evening, with Dr. James Fetzer, Jim the Conspiracy Guy. We'll be talking about a number of different things, and it should be a fascinating conversation, always enjoyable to talk with Dr. James Fetzer. His website is jimtheconspiracyguy.com, his blog, jamesfetzer.org. You can also catch a great bunch of speakers that he put together in a seminar that was held back on the 5th of December called False Flag Conspiracies 2020.com, and it's now absolutely free to watch each and every one of those seminars, individual speakers, and let me tell you, a lot of valuable information, especially if you believe that a lot of the things that are happening right now are actually false flags. And we can go over some of those things with him when we talk to him a little bit later on in the Dark Outpost Inner Circle. And if you are not already a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle, you need to be. And we'll tell you in just a little bit how you can become a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle and get some of the benefits derived from joining. All right? We appreciate that. We also have some incredible news items to bring to you this evening in the first part of the program. Before we do anything else, let's do as we do each and every evening and honor our nation and our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Now, as you probably are well aware by now, in most parts of the country today, not all, but in most parts of the country, it is an absolutely beautiful day. At least that's where we are today. And I got to tell you, it's time to dust off a few things. I've already been outside doing some yard work today, and we'll probably be doing some again this weekend. And, you know, the mower needs tuning up. The garden looks like it's been hit by a hurricane. Many of us had quite a bit of a winter, especially if you live in Texas, right? You might not have had a lot of snow, although you did have some, and you had some ice. Barbecue grill, that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And if you haven't already used it, we've already used ours. Now, you might enjoy doing some of these jobs. I do. But if you don't, or if you can't, for some reason, whatever the reason is, you're going to need to pay somebody. And of course, that takes money. Now, let's face it, putting money aside for a comfortable retirement is the only way you're going to get out of doing the lawn yourself, right? Now, this way, you can spend time doing the things you really want to do during your retirement. Visiting your kids and grandkids, right? Maybe hiking that trail that you've always wanted to do, or whatever, golfing. This is the golf season, all right? It's a lot of fun. Look, Noble Gold, my good friends at Noble Gold, they can help you with all of this. And the way to do it is to invest in precious metals. Precious metals should always be a part of your portfolio, along with your other investments. And a gold or silver IRA is a great way of doing this. I mean it. Trust me, I know. Now, this month, Noble Gold is offering a gift. I want you to check this out. It is a rare Carson City minted. Is not that absolutely beautiful? A rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar with every qualifying IRA or 401k you do. You're going to want to have, this thing is beautiful. Man, wouldn't you like to have that? I mean, seriously, just for opening up a gold or silver IRA, I would take advantage of it. And all you got to do to take advantage of it is to get in touch with the experts at Noble Gold. www.noblegoldinvestments.com, www.noblegoldinvestments.com, or call their toll-free telephone number. It's 877-646-5347, 877-646-5347. Again, noblegoldinvestments.com. All right, very good. Well, let's go to the Dark Outpost News Center and see what is happening in the news around the world and up your block. And boy, we got some interesting news for you about, well, some people's favorite part of the world, not necessarily mine, but maybe yours, Disney World. You might have heard about this. This is absolutely beyond the pale. And this is from finalwarning.com. A Louisiana man who allegedly spent $15,000, $15,000 on a vacation to the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, was hunted down and arrested after he failed to stop at a Wuhan coronavirus temperature check tent upon entry into the children's park. You heard me correctly. This guy's name is Kelly Sills. He's 47 years old. He pled not guilty after being found and detained by police near the Boathouse restaurant at Disney Springs. Body cam footage shows park officers and Orange County Sheriff's deputies approaching Sills, who immediately fired back at them that he had paid $15,000 to be there and thus could not possibly be doing anything illegal, trespassing, whatever. Disney, however, disagrees, as getting a temperature check for the COVID-19 pandemic is mandatory upon entry into any Disney facility. And Sills is now going to have to appear in court to argue his case. Folks, Disney is no longer, well, it never has been, in my personal opinion, the happiest place on earth. Let me tell you something. We have talked about it, and I've got unbelievable story to tell you tonight about Disney World. It's beyond the pale. But I'm starting with this for this reason. If you think that your Fourth Amendment rights are being violated, you have a right to redress. Now, Governor DeSantis of Florida, a man who some believe could very well be on a ticket for the presidency in an upcoming election, perhaps as early as 2024, unless Donald Trump is back before then. And, if he comes back before then, they may have to extend his his term because Joe Biden is stealing several months of it already, since this election was illegal. If Donald Trump does not return between now and August, which many, including myself, believe that he will, and I've got some very credible sources who are backing that up, then Trump himself may be running in 2024. He could have DeSantis on the ticket with him, or DeSantis, if Trump chose not to run, could run himself for the presidency. He's a man I could support for the presidency. All right. Now, Governor DeSantis has lifted all the restrictions in Florida. You do not have to wear a mask. You do not have to have COVID passports. He and Governor Greg Abbott of Texas are two men I greatly admire because they've opened up their states completely, and they've said bull capital S with a hit when it comes to these vaccine passports that the alleged Biden regime is attempting to shove down everybody's throats. But apparently individual businesses within these states can do whatever it is they want. The question is, are you going to do business with businesses that treat their customers, their guests, some paying upwards of obviously $15,000, as this Kelly Sills did, and being treated like this because he was not stopping at a COVID checkpoint within the park? Deputies claim that Sills skipped the Disney temperature check tent and later refused to go back to it when confronted. He then allegedly ignored orders from security guards and sheriff's deputies to leave the park. A security officer is heard saying in the body cam footage he's going to have to go for the day. "We're going to escort you out now, sir," a sheriff's deputy is then heard saying to Sills. "You are being asked to leave the premises by the security manager at Disney Springs. You are officially being trespassed." When Sills attempted to reason with the officers and security guards, asking them why he was being trespassed while staring at his smartphone, they retorted back that Walt Disney World is private property, regardless of whether or not he paid to be there. Back and forth arguing continued until eventually Sills agreed to go back to the temperature check tent for compliance, but it was already too late, as officers and guards had decided that Sills was to be punished for not complying sooner. He said, "Will you take my temperature before you kick me out, please?" And a sheriff's deputy responded, "They'll do that in jail, sir." "Well, that's good," Sills responded, before being hauled off to jail. Taken to jail for a non-temperature check. Now, first of all, I hope this guy takes some sort of legal action against Disney. And then I hope he and or his family never spend another dime in that pedophile park. And you don't believe it's a pedophile park? Well, I've got the stories to back it up. I've got the stories to back it up. We've talked about it on this program before. We've told you of the history of Walt Disney and what he is involved in with, or was involved in, with Freemasonry, pedophilia, child sex trafficking. Many employees at Disney World and other of their theme parks have been promoting pedophilia and child sex trafficking for years. Some have been arrested for it. Many others have not. And it continues to this very day. Now, Sills' first mistake was wasting his money on anything in this park, according to this article. And I could not agree more. Anyone who spends money at that place and does any business with that corporation, which now, by the way, owns everything. You do realize that, don't you? They own everything. They own sports franchises. They own ABC Television Network. They own several other media outlets. Folks, they're one of the big six right now. They're one of the big six that owns everything. They are a juggernaut. But again, no one, and I repeat, no one is forcing you to do business with them. And if you are, you're out of your mind. You're out of your bleeping mind. This company, Disney, is evil to its very core. I've said this before, and I will say it again. I don't care how many times I have to harp on it. It just happens to be a fact. Let me give you some prime examples of the evil that goes on at this park. Let me give you some examples. But before we do that, let's finish this. A sizable segment of this country, unfortunately, apparently can't shed their Disney obsession. They can't. Who in their right mind would spend good money? I don't care if it's if you live down there and you're visiting for a day, or you are traveling like most people do from other parts of the country, mostly in the eastern half of the country, to go to this place where now they require a temperature check. Now they are requiring facial recognition. Remember, they used to, I think they used to put, they have a thing called to get on their rides, they have something, I think they call it a fast pass or something along that line. But even to get into the park, you have to use this similar system of putting your finger on some sort of a device, and it turns green or yellow or one of those colors to let you know that you bought the ticket. Then you get in the park. Now you have to get a temperature check. Now you have to wear a mask, and you have to wear it all day long in every part of the park unless you are eating. And even when you are eating, if you are not sitting at a table eating, you have to have the mask on between bites. This is draconian, folks, and people are paying for this. They are paying for the privilege of going to a place that is imposing these absolutely disgusting measures on people. And people are going along with it. I don't get it. I don't get the whole thing about it. Here's this. Sills would have been better off spending his hard-earned money elsewhere rather than flush it down the toilet at Disney. A similar incident occurred last month when 51-year-old Kelly McKinn of North Palm Beach was charged with battery on a uniformed officer. After being told to put back her mask on, McKinn spit in the guard's face, prompting her arrest. Well, look, folks, seriously, leave the park, argue with the guy. Spitting is assault. I'm sorry, you don't spit on a security guard, okay? Especially not in the climate that we're living in right now. I don't condone that. Said the security officer was not directly hit, but some saliva got on her forehead, according to the Daily Mail. Back in August, 35-year-old Enrico Toro was arrested for allegedly hitting a security guard in the head and threatening to kill him over a face mask dispute. Toro was charged with misdemeanor battery. Again, in this particular case, you don't do that. Peaceful protest. You want to argue with them. You want to leave the park, but not before demanding each and every penny back of what you paid. That's what I would do. Or in the first place, I wouldn't spend any money there, period. Period. According to the Walt Disney World website, face coverings are required at Disney parks for all guests 2 years of age and older. 2 years of age and older. This includes guests who have been injected with the vaccine. In other words, if you have been vaccinated, and like I said, no vaccine needle will ever touch my body. I will never be getting the COVID-19 vaccine, period. But even those of you who have gotten it, if you have your certificate of vaccination and you show it when you go into the park, you have to wear a mask all day. And let me tell you something, from what I understand, from people I know that have been there, starting at about this time of the year, and going for many, many months, the heat down there is oppressive, and it is a moist heat, meaning it is, you could suffocate to death. They're basically trying to kill you at this park. According to, Disney further says, please bring your own face mask coverings and wear them at all times except when dining or swimming. So in other words, you can get in a pool with a bunch of other people at one of their resorts, have no face mask on. You can be in close proximity to somebody else and have your face mask off, but gee damn it, get out of the pool. You better put that face mask on. This is like going into the restaurant with a face mask until you sit down at the table and then take it off, and all of a sudden you're no longer contagious. This is, I don't get it. I don't get it. But here, let me give you an example of what's going on at Disney right now. And you're going to love this one. This is the second time this has happened. The second time. Police have uncovered a huge pedophile ring at Disney World with over 35 employees arrested for alleged child rape offenses. The Disney employees include people from management, a concierge, a tour guide, and a ticket seller. Disney has downplayed the arrests, insisting that the theme park is so large that those arrested account for just 0.01% of its overall workforce. Here's the question is, does it matter how small the percentage is? And I can tell you for a fact it's a lot larger than that. I can tell you for a fact that this is prevalent in this park. Disney World. Why? Because I know an insider at that park. Now, this guy is as clean as the driven snow, but he knows of some things that are going on in that park that he has tried to report to management, and they have not followed up. And let me tell you something, there is an underground tunnel system in Walt Disney World. And this is where this stuff is going on. Here's more. Polk County Sheriff said pedophiles have obvious reasons for wanting to work at the resort and wants compulsory lie detector polygraph tests for staff to be made legal. The toll of Disney workers arrested was revealed after a 6-month investigation. Suspects were tracked down. They're still facing trial, including an employee 50 years old who was employed as a ride repair worker at Disney. He faces 2 charges of soliciting a child to commit a sex act after Lake County police say he tried to meet up with a 14-year-old girl. The guy pled not guilty. He said he was trying to protect the girl from further harm, was not a predator, and loved working at the resort. He said, to see the look on the children's faces when they go to see Prince Charming or run into Mickey, that was the best part, to see kids glow, seeing their heroes. They know how much I love them. All 4 of my kids. And they know their dad is not somebody who would go out and hurt a young child. All right. Another arrested was 26-year-old a ticket supervisor at the Magic Kingdom. He initiated contact with an undercover detective via a social networking site. The undercover detective told the suspect that he was a 13-year-old boy. The guy initiated sexually explicit messages to a person he thought was a 13-year-old boy, including mutual oral sex. The suspect traveled to the undercover location and was arrested. He faces 5 separate charges, as does another 40-year-old predator who worked as a concierge at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Police arrested this guy 2 weeks ago on suspicion of sending explicit messages to an officer he thought was a 14-year-old boy. He admitted to deputies that he traveled to meet the 14-year-old boy to see where things would lead to and was hoping for sex. He admitted to chatting about performing oral sex on the boy. He said it's always been his fantasy to have sex with a 14-year-old boy. Police are also investigating an alleged confession by this guy that he previously had sex with a 15-year-old boy in a Georgia motel. An investigation found far more child sex arrests at Disney than at Universal Studios, which had 5, or SeaWorld, which had 2. One of those from Universal caught in the sting was a 23-year-old guy who told detectives he had previously worked in food service at Disney and at SeaWorld. He engaged in an online conversation with an undercover detective who identified herself as a 14-year-old girl. He admitted to detectives that he solicited the conversation about sex and came to the residence with the mindset to have unprotected sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old girl. Another arrest was a 32-year-old guy, a Disney employee accused of sending explicit photos to someone he thought was a 13-year-old boy and his uncle. And a 20-year-old guy arrested 2 weeks ago, accused of sending a photo of his penis to a detective he thought was a 13-year-old girl. He told officers Disney had fired him 2 weeks before his arrest for missing work. Last month, a former Disney employee was sentenced to 6 years in jail after sheriffs accused him of watching child porn at work while writing an Easter sermon for the church where he's a pastor. The guy was 50 years old. He was fired by Disney after his crimes were exposed. In all, over 35 Disney suspects have been arrested since 2006 on charges with various offenses ranging mostly from child pornography and soliciting sex to sexual activity. All 42 of the theme park workers it examined, of the 42 this investigation examined, 32 had been convicted, 8 had pled not guilty, and 2 had not yet entered any pleas. The age of consent in Florida is 18. The Polk County Sheriff has dismissed claims that his aggressive stings amount to entrapment. He wants to be able to give compulsory lie detector tests to anyone who works around children, including a church or a nursery, to check that they are not a pedophile. He said, why do people work at Disney? Well, they work at Disney because they want a good, stable job for a great company, but there's always a few that are there because they can see children. They can live in a child's world. There are concerns about the use of polygraph machines to see if someone is telling the truth, both from civil liberties groups and experts who doubt their accuracy. Disney, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld all said they had the highest standard of background checks and took all allegations seriously. A Disney spokesman said, providing a safe environment for children and families is a responsibility we take very seriously. We have extensive measures in place, including pre-employment and ongoing criminal background checks and computer monitoring and firewalls. The numbers reported represent 1/100th of the 300,000 people we have employed during this time period. We continue to work closely with law enforcement and organizations like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children as we constantly strengthen our efforts. Really? Okay. All right. You want some more? Here's more. And this is from distributednews.com. Check this out. And then I'll tell you about my friend who's a Disney employee who has to remain nameless. Wait till you see what I got to tell you. In accordance with its stated agenda of making the demon realm feel like home, the Disney Channel, and remember, it's not just theme parks, folks. Not just their theme parks. It's their entire entertainment empire. The entire thing. In accordance with its stated agenda of making the demon realm feel like home, the Disney Channel is releasing a new program for children called The Owl House that glorifies demons, witchcraft, and hell. According to Disney, the series centers around a teenage girl named Luz, or Luz, L-U-Z, let's say Luz, who discovers a portal to another realm where humans are not well liked, and she must disguise herself in order to fit in at witch school. That's not W-H-I-C-H, it's W-I-T-C-H. This realm, according to the kids' programming empire, is referred to as Demon Town, and in it, Luz decides to live with a demon named Ida, the Owl Lady, who's the most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles. Luz's character decides during one of the earlier episodes of the show, quote, "Someday I'm going to be just like her," meaning Luz wants to grow up not to be an honorable human woman, but rather a demon witch like Ida. The purpose of this storyline, of course, is to teach children whose parents let them watch the Disney Channel that being normal human beings is passé, and that it's cool to discover portals that carry you off to hell to live with demons, witches, and even Satan himself. Folks, if you think this is just, fantasy and fun and that sort of thing, you better do some serious rethinking here, because this show is trying to portray witchcraft as the norm, and actually more than the norm, a positive tool to fight evil. Now, we've had Jesse Zaborda on this program many, many times. By the way, keep Jessie in your prayers, if you would, please. She's her life is still in grave danger. I've got an update for you about her. I'm going to bring that to you on Thursday's program. It's tomorrow night, but keep her in your prayers, would you please? Not in a good place right now. Okay. But even we've talked with Jesse about, what they call good magic and bad magic, and white magic and black. That's it. White magic and black magic, and even white magic, not good. People should not be messing around with magic and witchcraft of any kind. Period. You're not supposed to do that. You're summoning demons from the bowels of hell. And you're putting people in grave danger, including yourself. According to Deborah Bunting for CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, again, the show tries to portray witchcraft as a positive tool to fight evil. That's similar to what real-life witches have been promoting over the past few years, as they've been putting hexes on President Trump and others in order to fight for their beliefs. The problem, folks, is that most people don't take the time, most parents don't take the time to pay attention to what these entertainment giants like Disney and Nickelodeon and some of these other things are doing. You know, they see a kid watching a Disney Channel show. It's okay. They don't realize it's porn light. And a lack of morality and a lack of values. Not to mention subliminal messages, which are being transmitted not only on their television shows, but through their motion pictures. I've done entire programs on this, folks. I really have. I did an entire program on the history of Walt Disney. Okay, and what he was involved in. Go back through the archives at darkoutpost.tv if you're an Inner Circle member, and you'll see what we're talking about. And if you're not an Inner Circle member, you need to get on board. But most parents have no clue about just what the hell is going on here. They assume that Disney resembles the Disney programming of old, which they believed on the surface was clean and wholesome. It never really was. You know, these kids that were part of the Mickey Mouse Club, like Annette Funicello and all these things, they were used as sex objects by Uncle Walt, right? And the employees there. This has been going on for decades, and people still to this day spend their money at these parks and subscribe to their channels, subscribe to Disney Plus, subscribe to all this stuff, and pay good money to have their children indoctrinated into witchcraft and Satanism. All right? And they're using animation, cartoons, as the bait to lure these children. It's just a fact. Again, this Deborah Bunting, I believe her name is Deborah Bunting, yes, for CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, said, over the years, Disney has gone farther and farther into the darkness of the spiritual world that opposes the living God, coming up with programming and characters that lead the vulnerable into that dark world of deception. This spiritual realm that opposes God is real. Demons are real. And I think on this program, we have proven that over and over again. We have made it abundantly clear that satanic Illuminati is real. And if you don't believe it, if you don't, for some reason, believe it, just get yourself a hold of the Bundle Plus. Get a hold of this by becoming a Dark Outpost Inner Circle member, or if you don't want to, you can buy it through a donation to our website. The majority of the money goes to Shared Hope International, an organization that we support that's doing everything in their power to put an end to child sex trafficking here in the United States. So we're giving the money to a good cause, and you get a series of documents, including an entire report on the Disney Pedogate Empire, which goes into much more detail than what we could ever give you here. But you need to know what's going on. Now, again, back to Deborah Bunting. She says, they are out to deceive your children and draw them into the pawns of the enemy of their souls, the devil, otherwise known as Satan. His devices and plans are to destroy your kids and grandkids spiritually, physically, and emotionally. You must protect them from being enticed into this demonic world. Adam Hirsch, one of the voice actors on the Owl House, reportedly told Newsweek during an interview that the original pitch for the show was Girl Hangs Out with a Witch in Hell. Oh, that's wholesome entertainment, isn't it? Most parents probably wouldn't go for this, so the network had to get more creative. This reminds me of Harry Potter. A lot of people think that's just innocent stuff, man. It's, it's just fun, And I'm sure that there are those of you in this audience right now who are looking at me and saying, you know what, you're making a big issue out of nothing. We'll get to that. It is not nothing. But for example, Harry Potter. Colorful storylines, fantastic special effects in the movies. Again, the books tailored for kids who enjoy fantasy. But behind this facade is nothing short of depravity. And and kids are being sexualized as well. Elizabeth Johnson, also who goes by the name of activist Mommy on her blog, said, as ridiculous as the demons contained in the book may be, there is nothing innocent or fun about pretending to summon evil spirits. But, and here's a good but, who is to say that this is pretend? How do you know that you are not actually summoning these demons when you are using some of the incantations that you read in some of these books? The spiritual realm, folks, is not and never has been a laughing matter. It's quite real. There's an exorcist who was talking to LifeSite News, said this new Disney show is a sign of the degeneration of our society, which is pushing to make demons acceptable while ignoring their malice and desire to do us harm. Well, and that's just a fact. All right. Now, let me tell you about my friend. I can't mention the guy's name. He works at Disney. I wish he didn't, but he's been there for a while. And he's tried to warn some people about what's going on behind the scenes there. That place is rife with pedophilia. And there is a lot of child sex trafficking that goes on there. Now, they have an underground tunnel system at Walt Disney World. They call it the utilidors. Okay. And he said there are things that go on underground in that place that would make you sick to your stomach. There are children being trafficked, according to him, and I believe him. They're being abused. They're being nabbed. There are illegals being trafficked through that system. There are tourists who go missing. I'm talking about kids. They go missing and they're never heard from again. And yet if you go, he said, to take a tour of these underground tunnels called the utilidors, you would never know. Because you are still, because they have these, you can sign up, I guess, for these special behind-the-scenes tours of the park, Disney World, where they tell you and show you things that nobody else on the surface gets to see. If you have a certain VIP status and you contribute, I think it's along the lines that you have to pay like $50,000. That's a lot of money. But there are people who can afford that, right? That's nothing to some people. You will get treated to something at Disney that you can get anything you want, including underage. You can live out a sexual fantasy, the likes of which is completely unimaginable to most of us. Those of us who love kids and don't want to see them hurt in any way, shape, or form. And yet there are adults that are paying a lot of money to be able to go down there and do some pretty horrific things. It's happening, according to my friend who works there. The problem is he has not personally witnessed things going on there, but he's seen the remnants of what's gone on there. And he's been told what goes on there. And he has no reason to doubt it because he knows people who have seen it going on there. And he's been told to keep quiet. He's been told to keep his mouth shut. Don't talk about it. We don't talk about that here. And it goes all the way back to good old Uncle Walt, a Freemason, 33rd degree. Okay. Who, by the way, himself was abused as a child, he and his brother. Abuse begets abuse. You want more? There's a terrific article in the Easton Spectator titled Disneyland Pedophilia, Child Trafficking, and Ghislaine. I've been told to pronounce it Ghislaine by someone who knows her personally, so I'm trying to respect this woman. She's a pretty high up lady. Ghislaine Maxwell, Ancient Child Sex Trafficking Cult. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures. And you're going to appreciate this. I think. You won't appreciate it. It's disgusting. We'll start with this one. This is a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell. All right. Ghislaine Maxwell at Walt Disney Save the Children. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. All right. I want to show you something else out of their book, one of their books. Take a look at this. Meanwhile, Honest John and Gideon were in a tavern. A fat coachman was there too. Honest John bragged about how much money Stromboli had paid them for Pinocchio. He said, I pay even more for small boys. What do you think he pays for those small boys to do? Let's see what else. Here's another one. Let's see. Hang on. You're going to like this. The coachman told Honest John his scheme. He brought boys to a place called Pleasure Island. He said, no boys ever return, at least not as boys. Honest John decided to catch more small boys. Just then, Pinocchio and I were racing home to Geppetto. I ran very fast. I didn't see Honest John stop Pinocchio. until it was too late. Now, why do you think good old Honest John decided to catch more small boys? Why do you think? Let's see, is there more? Well, listen to this. I want you to pay attention to this. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. Pizzagate is real. It was not debunked as some sort of a conspiracy theory. It exists. It is real. It is going on to today. Some of the people call it Pizzagate. Some of the people call it Pedogate. Doesn't matter. It's real. We've done an entire series of reports on it. The Bundle Plus, and now we have the Bundle 2, which has even more information. Okay? Now, if you think, and we talked about this the other day, we were talking about the Evergreen trafficking thing. There over 1,000 children were rescued by U.S. Navy SEALs from the Evergreen ship. They found these kids in crates. Some of them are already dead, but they rescued many of them alive. A lot of these kids were being bought and sold through Wayfair. Remember that scandal that took place? Oh, a couple of years ago, they were talking about the Wayfair child trafficking scandal. Oh, and you were buying a piece of furniture, $40,000 for an armoire or whatever it was. What you were really paying for was a child. It was a coded message to get children. Okay? If you think that makes you sick, wait till you hear this. Human trafficking happens to be very real. It's not fake. Elite pedophilia is real. Organ harvesting is real. Adrenochrome harvesting is real. Did you know that you can go on? I'm going to see if I can do this right here. Maybe I can't, but I'm going to try. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to show you something and see if you think this is funny. See if I can find it. Okay, here it is. All right. Okay. You can get an adrenochrome. You can, I don't know if you could probably buy adrenochrome. You can buy it here. Oh, here it is. Oh, I knew that I'd find this. You're gonna love this. Take a look at this. You can buy this on Disney. Maybe you'd like to have one of these. Who knows? Let's see. There it is. Don't talk to me until I've had my adrenochrome. That's available on Amazon.com. Let's see what else. You can buy. I think you can actually buy adrenochrome on here. Now I'm going to show you. You can get here. This is one example. Let's see if we can upload this. Now this is, they won't say this is adrenochrome. They won't say it, but they have this stuff called adrenal support dietary supplement, gluten-free, non-GMO, nutritional support for healthy adrenal function. Now, I'm not saying that company there is involved in this. I threw up an example of a brand that could be just exactly what they claim it is, some sort of an adrenal support. But there's all kinds of stuff on there. But you can buy adrenochrome. They had all kinds of good stuff on there. But again, you think Disney's trying to be funny, or not Disney, Amazon's trying to be funny with this? Don't talk to me until I've had my adrenochrome? I bet you that's a coffee mug that Ellen DeGeneres and some of these other celebrities have, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, what else? This has been going on for, well, it probably has been going on since the beginning of time. And it's happening here in the United States. It's happening all over the world. It involves Hollywood. It involves politicians. It involves the elite, the rich. Some of these people that you actually look up to are involved in this stuff. And I get it. I get it. It's hard to wrap your head around this stuff sometimes. I still get people who write to me all the time and say, you're out of your mind. This cannot possibly be happening. Folks, I'll say it again. You want these reports? This is going to make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It's going to make you run to the toilet and vomit. Because these things are extremely sensitive. It contains some very serious information. It's sickening, but it is happening right now in this world. It is happening right now as we speak. But it's also something that's so evil that it's hard to imagine that it's even happening to these kids. It's easy to laugh this stuff off as being a conspiracy theory, right? An international labor organization says 40.3 million human trafficking victims globally. There are 40.3 million human trafficking victims globally. Now, I want you to think about some stuff. I'm going to throw some things at you, some bullet points, as we say. Everybody knew about Epstein, right? And by the way, Epstein is not dead, right? You know that too. We almost got an opportunity to see him on January the 6th at the Capitol. Almost. That was going to be one of the trump cards. It was going to stop this certification of the electoral college votes. And then Antifa and BLM started a riot. They blamed it on Trump supporters. All hell broke loose, and an opportunity to expose Epstein to the world was lost. Epstein is alive and well. He did not die. He did not commit suicide. He was not murdered. He was extracted by the feds on behalf of President Trump. But you know what this man did. You know what he was responsible for. We know it. You all knew about Little St. James Island. We've done many reports on that. He purchased that island back in 1998. We also know that former President Bill Clinton, now deceased, despite what you may think, his wife Hillary Clinton, now deceased, both executed, Barack Obama, all these people visited Epstein's Island. Alan Dershowitz, many celebrities, many of whom have since been terminated with extreme prejudice at Guantanamo Bay. But you know what happened there. You know what they did to these kids. There are videos out there. Many of them are on the dark web. They're still out there on the dark web. You're not supposed to download them. You're not supposed to own them. You're not supposed to have them. Frazzle drip was very real. Hillary and Uma Abedin tearing the face off a 12-year-old girl, drinking her blood, eating her flesh, raping her, torturing her. That video is very real, and it is still available on the dark web. Do you know how to get to the dark web? Why did locals report seeing dozens of young kids being taken to Epstein's Island via boatloads for years? See, they didn't travel, the kids didn't travel on the planes. The elite traveled on the Lolita Express to Pedo Island to have sex with these kids. The kids were brought over on boats. On boats. You know who else was a regular visitor there? The same eugenicist that wants you, well, say wanted you, because he's dead now too, but his spirit is still alive in people running his organization. And there is a lookalike for Bill Gates. There is a lookalike for Melinda Gates, who, by the way, was a man named Melvin. They want you to take that damn vaccine. They won't give they wouldn't give Bill Gates, the real Bill Gates, wouldn't give his own children vaccines. Wants to shove them down your throat, killed kids in Africa and India. Bill Gates was a regular visitor to Epstein's Island. Prince Andrew. We know about that too, right? Regular visitor, Epstein's Island. So you're going to tell me that all these prominent men and women, yeah, and women too, visited this island for, and they had no clue that this was going on? I mean, they had no understanding of what was taking place there? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You got to be kidding me, really? And what was going on in the tunnels under Little St. James Island? Oh, there's videos out there, and you can find them. They're on the dark web. They're still circulating. We actually have, as part of the Bundle Plus, the original Bundle Plus, a report on how to navigate the dark web. Now, we do not recommend that you go on the dark web to find this type of stuff. It's illegal. It's wrong. Drugs, pornography, child porn, the dregs of society are on parts of the dark web. However, a lot of the information that we bring you, such as our newest report, which we just added to the Bundle 2 about the Black Eye Club. It's a complete report on the Black Eye Club. Who belongs to it? How do you become a member of this organization called the Black Eye Club? It's a badge of honor to be a member of the Black Eye Club. You know what it is? You want to find out more about it? And what you have had to have done to become a member of the Black Eye Club? It's part of the Bundle 2. I'll tell you how you can get the Bundle 2 later. But here's the thing. The research that was required to get this report out to you comes from the dark web. We're doing the homework for you. But if you get the Bundle Plus, the first generation of our reports, we have an entire report on how to navigate the dark web. We show you how to do it safely so that you're not going to the bad stuff, but going to where you can get news and information that you're not going to get anyplace else. If you're interested in that, stick around. We'll tell you how to get that, both the Bundle Plus and the Bundle 2. Now, here's more. Did you know Ghislaine Maxwell owns a submarine company? Yeah, a submarine company. Now, what would you put in a submarine near Little St. James Island? And by the way, Joe Biden, completely lost now. The real Joe Biden, not the one who's playing him at some appearances. I'm talking about the idiot that you see staring off into space, stumbling over his own words because he's got dementia. He also owns a little piece of property not too far from Little St. James Island, where he did some horrific things to kids as well. Did you know that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you know that Ghislaine Maxwell has a submarine pilot license? She's licensed to pilot a submarine. What would she possibly need that for? Oh, she was the procurer for Jeffrey Epstein. Ah, yes, of course. Of course. Did you know that the Terramar project was funded by the Clinton Foundation and was located in the Lynn de Rothschild property in Manhattan? Oh, you didn't know that. Did you know that Chelsea Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell are reported to be very close and actually vacation together? Well, not right now, because Ghislaine Maxwell is allegedly being held, awaiting trial. She was just charged with soliciting a 14-year-old for sex. Are you going to try to tell me that Chelsea Clinton didn't know what Ghislaine Maxwell was up to? You remember when Chelsea's wedding was paid for with money that was supposed to go to starving Haitian children? You remember that? Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Remember the clinic in Chelsea's apartment that was used to purportedly save her mother's life when she passed out at the September 11th, 2016 9/11 memorial event in New York City, where Hillary actually died but was resuscitated and brought back to life, and had body doubles and doppelgangers taking her place at several other appearances, until she was actually charged at George H.W. Bush's funeral with crimes against humanity and indicted right there at the funeral for George H.W. Bush, who was assassinated on November the 30th, 2018. On December the 5th, her and Bill were arrested and taken to Guantanamo Bay, where they were tried in a military tribunal and were executed on December 31st, 2018 for crimes against humanity. You mean to tell me that Chelsea Clinton didn't know about Ghislaine Maxwell and didn't vacation with her, knowing what the hell her parents were involved in? Why did Hillary put Ghislaine's nephew in charge of key Middle East policy decisions when she ran the State Department, like the U.S. and Libya policy that got, Mr. Stevens, Ambassador Stevens, killed, Chris Stevens. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about the Podesta emails? What about the Hillary emails? Oh, speaking of that, that's also part of the bundle too. Hillary's emails and the Podesta emails. We have all of that for you as part of the bundle too. We have documents upon documents upon documents. A lot of them are links that you click on to go to these places, but they're there. We've researched them. We got them for you. You can read all the 30,000 Hillary Clinton emails. They're all there. Where do we get them? Where do you find them? Where do you find more stuff like this that we're already giving you as part of the bundles? Where do you get them? How do you do your own research? Get the Bundle Plus. We'll tell you how to do your own research as part of the report on how to navigate the dark web. What was up with John and Tony Podesta's artwork? I used to have some of the artwork here. I don't know if I still have it. Do I have any of Tony Podesta's artwork here? No, I think I got rid of it. But you saw it. You've seen the little boys and with their naked butts hanging out that he's got hanging in paintings in his place. Would you want any of that creepy shit? Honestly, would you? Why would Barack Obama buy $65,000 worth of taxpayers' money to have hot dogs fly in from Chicago for a private party? What are hot dogs? What are hot dogs? Oh, you haven't heard the Pizzagate terminology? Look it up on the World Wide Web. You see they get terminology. Hot dogs are boys. As you can imagine why. Pizza is girls, basically. That's what Pizzagate's all about. Who is James Alefantis? Suddenly dropped off the radar. He's completely vindicated by the mainstream media. Pizzagate was a big hoax. It was all a big conspiracy theory. Nothing to see here, folks. Move on. But not exactly. Not exactly. Who was James Alefantis? A pizza owner in Washington, D.C.? That's all he was, right? Named one of the most powerful people in D.C. Why would a pizza place owner be named one of the most powerful people in Washington, D.C.? Can somebody explain that one to me? Because I don't get it. Why did he have ties? A small pizza place owner with the Clintons, the Obamas, Epstein, and many more elites. Why? Did you ever go to James Alefantis' Instagram account? I don't even know if it's still up there. But if it is, check it out. Creepy. Real creepy. Have you looked up the art that he had in that pizza place? Look it up. Do yourself a search. You can find some of that right on the regular World Wide Web. Other stuff you got to go to the dark web to see, but some of it's up there for you to see it. If you were to take your kids to that kind of a pizza place with that kind of artwork, would you want them seeing that kind of stuff? How would you explain the artwork in a place like that? Did you know there's a dark web login page to get into James Alefantis' site that costs thousands of dollars? That was taken down. Or was it? I've heard it's still accessible if you know how to find it. Anthony Weiner, laptop, insurance policy. And what does Anthony Weiner get? Basically a slap on the wrist. He's already out of jail. Spent time for sexting a 15-year-old girl. And he's not the only one to do stuff like that. He's not the only one to send inappropriate pictures to people or post inappropriate pictures online, such as Geraldo Rivera. Okay, all right. Frazzle Drip. was real. It was real. You're not supposed to own a copy of it. No, not supposed to have it. People have seen it. It made grown men cry and vomit in the New York Police Department who saw it. When you see, well, you're not supposed to see it. But I imagine girl's face being ripped off, screaming in agony, as Hillary and Uma do unspeakable acts to this girl, 12 years old. 12 years old. Okay. This is the same Uma and Hillary who did something in that video so horrific that not only did grown men and women vomit and cry, 9 New York City Police Department officers committed suicide after having watched it. They killed themselves. That's how bad it was. Now, let's talk about the Clintons and their kill list. The people who have died just because, they went against the Clintons. They went up against that juggernaut that is the Clintons. Right? 57 people, former colleagues associated with the Clintons, end up dead in the past 30 years. 15 died of suicide. 8 of them died in a plane, a car, or a motorcycle accident. 14 found mysteriously murdered. Because they all had something in common. Info against the Clintons. Do most of us even have 57 friends? I mean, people you could call real friends. I don't have 57 friends. Do you? And why was James Comey's daughter the lead prosecutor in Jeffrey Epstein's case? The same James Comey, by the way, that liked to dress up as Howdy Doody with little boys. Oh, you hadn't heard about that? Yeah, that's true too. Oh yeah, they're all involved, folks. This is so sick and disgusting. Well, it's just pretty damn unbelievable. Former CEO of Reddit, Ellen Pao, admitted they knew Ghislaine Maxwell supplied underage girls for Epstein and his pedo buddies. They knew. They knew. The Norwegian royal family implicated in the Epstein scandal. We have an entire report, by the way, on the European royals as part of the Bundle Plus and their human hunting parties. They hunt they make these kids strip naked, most of them teenagers, and they hunt them at night. And you know what they do when they find them? When they find them? It's all in the Bundle Plus. If you don't have it, you want to get it. What about Oprah Winfrey? The School for Girls for South Africa in South Africa. Sex scandal going on there too, trafficking, pedophilia. And then she's friends with Harvey Weinstein too, right? Oprah, who gives away cars, right? Pure as the driven snow. Not really. Not really. You remember Nexium? The Nexium case, yes. Allison Mack of Smallville. What about Laura Silsby? The woman who was tried in Haiti for trying to sneak and kidnap 30 children to bring them to the United States. And the Clintons used an executive order to bring her back to the U.S. without being charged. And here's the kicker. Guess who changed their legal name and is in charge of the Amber Alert? Laura Silsby. The McMartin Preschool. That's another one. The Franklin cover-up. We've talked about that in this broadcast. Seth Rich, Isaac Cappy, Boys Town, the Boy Scouts, the Finders, Dennis Hastert, Robert Menendez, all prominent pedophiles. Mike Fulmer, Terry Bean, David Byrd, George Byrd. So while everybody's here thinking about COVID, and Disney is kicking people out of their parks who paid $15,000, like this guy, to get in there and have a good time because he bypassed the temperature check. They throw him out of the park, and yet what they're doing to kids, whether it is subliminally through their movies and their TV shows or overtly through what's going on in their theme parks, our world is upside down right now, folks. It is upside down. And it's time for you folks, seriously, to start doing your homework. And a good starting point is to get yourself a copy of the Bundle 2 or the Bundle Plus. And we'll tell you how to do that in a few minutes. And I just wanted you to be aware of what's going on here. All right? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, what are some of the other stories making news tonight? Well, lots of interesting stuff. The World Economic Forum is promoting the smart mask of the future. The World Economic Forum is promoting the mask of the future, a smart mask that can track your breathing and let you know if you are wearing it wrong or even forget to put it on. Oh, they're going to track you for not wearing a mask. Unbelievable. Here it is. Klaus Schwab is behind it. The globalists behind the Great Reset are now promoting a smart face mask that tracks every breath its wearer takes. A video posted to the World Economic Forum's official Twitter account today hypes the smart face mask, which was designed by the Chinese-owned health data firm CirQ Technologies, or CirQ Technologies, C-I-R-Q. Let's just say it's CirQ Technologies. According to Summit News, the smart mask tells you when to wash it, whether you're wearing it properly, and alerts you via a sensor linked to a cell phone app when you've left it at home. Here's the question. Are you the only one that's going to get alerted when you walk outside of your house without that face mask on? Are you the only one that's going to get a little ringy-dingy-dingy on your little smartphone? Or are the authorities going to get a little ringy-dingy-dingy as well? Real cool. The environmental benefits of the mask are also touted as it would cut down on the number of disposable face masks that end up in landfills. We've got to care about the planet Earth. They care so much about the planet Earth. Rip the God. rip the masks off and don't put them on again. Time to put a stop to this stuff, folks. We got to take a stand. We got to take a stand. And that, of course, is going to mean perhaps, I don't know, perhaps taking up arms. Taking up arms. Have you bought your gun yet? You bought your ammunition yet? I purchased a new handgun yesterday. No, Monday. And that's why I wasn't here with the show Monday night. I had a number of different business matters to attend to. One of which was purchasing a new 9mm. And the guy said he needs some ammunition. He said, you better buy it now. It's good. He says it's hard to find. There's a shortage. Everything's. My daughter got married in January to a very nice young man. Treats her very well. Best son-in-law man could ever ask for. For his bachelor party, my son wanted to take him to the gun range. They just wanted to do something fun, as opposed to, they don't go to strip joints and all that kind of stuff. Bachelor parties, and they're not gamblers. They don't play cards. And he said, well, we'll go to dinner and we'll go to the gun range and, have a little fun. And they couldn't. You're supposed to bring your own ammunition. They let you rent a gun there, before whatever kind you want. Glocks, 6 hours. Doesn't matter what you want to shoot, a 9mm or 22, 45, doesn't matter. But they couldn't, they didn't have their own ammunition. So the guy, well, we can't give you any, we can't sell you any because we're out of it. You have to bring your own. We'll give you the gun, but they won't sell you ammunition for the purpose of using it at the range. They want you to bring your own. But if you buy a gun, they'll sell you some ammunition if they have it. Interesting stuff going on right now. Arm up. Arm up, my friends. Again, back to these smart face masks. The fact that the mask can keep track of whether or not you're wearing it led some respondents to suggest it could eventually be tied to a Chinese communist-style social credit score system. What have we told you is going to happen here? What have I told you is going to happen? I said you're not going to be able to do any business unless you are vaccinated or wearing a mask. And really, the final goal here is to get you vaccinated. It's to get that needle in your arm. And as I mentioned earlier on in the program today, and as I have mentioned many times in the past, it ain't happening here at Old Zub. I am not getting that done. It ain't not happening. It is not happening. In China, the state has already linked its coronavirus tracking system to its social credit score program, dishing out punishments for those who fail to mask up or violate social distancing rules. Another Twitter user noted how the promo video inadvertently admits that carbon dioxide, a promo video for this mask, is a significant health threat posed by too much mask wearing. The Davos Billionaire Club appears to be pinning its agenda on the new normal being a future of permanent mask mandates. While I'm thinking about this, I want to get this story out to you. I meant to bring this to you yesterday. And here it is. You got to hear this. You got to hear. We'll get back to the mask story in a moment. Well, this has to do with a mask story. But you got to see this. This is unbelievable. Schools indoctrinate children to wear masks for life. If you want to be cool like superheroes Batman and Spider-Man, you should embrace wearing a face mask anytime you're near other people, even outdoors. That message was delivered to 3rd and 4th grade students at Irving Elementary School in Irving, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, controlled by a deep state mayor and a county judge who once worked for Barack Obama. On March 23rd, District Superintendent Magda Hernandez told faculty they had a moral responsibility to ensure that children perceived masking not as a hardship, but as an opportunity to show the world how cool they are. She instructed teachers to be creative in how they conveyed the message. One teacher used a curious and potentially dangerous approach, telling students that wearing a face mask or two would make them as strong and cool as comic book heroes. Her name is Sarah White, and she, like many public educators, is more interested in pushing a political narrative than teaching children spelling and arithmetic, what she's paid to do. She said, Batman wears a mask and is cool. Spider-Man wears a mask and is cool. They're cool because they never remove their masks when they're around other people. And you shouldn't either. They've been wearing masks for years or their whole lives to guard their identities and to make sure they don't give other people COVID-19. Oh, that's why the superheroes wear the mask. Oh, how stupid could I have been? It's important for all of you to do the same. Otherwise, you won't be cool. This is what she told to her 4th grade class. The account of her shocking statement came from one of her students, Christopher Peel, 10, who parroted Miss White's soliloquy to his mother and father after returning home from school that day. Mr. Peel, 36, said he was outraged by the school's bizarre method of encouraging healthy, non-diseased children to wear masks. He said, as a patriot and Trump supporter, it sickens my stomach that kids are being forced to wear face masks in school. I told my kids the truth, that they don't get COVID, and if they do, they don't get sick from it. This is the government's influence on the schools and its overreach. America has turned into a land of pussies. He's right. He's absolutely 100% correct. The next day, young Christopher Peel went to school and echoed his father's sentiment to his teachers, telling Ms. White that only liberal socialist sheeple wear a government-mandated face mask to combat a sickness that has a 99.9% survivability rate. Congratulations to young Christopher Peel. When Ms. White demanded to know where Christopher had heard this sheeple reference, the young student proudly replied, "From my father, he's smarter than you." She said, "Your father shouldn't say such things. I might have to report him to Dr. Fauci. If he talks like that, we might have to take you away from him and your mother so you can learn the right way to act." No, I'm not making this up. Or else you'll get people sick with COVID. Mr. Peel said that he and his wife are now considering homeschooling their children and said they've retained an attorney to protect their civil liberties and also sue the Irving School District for violating Christopher's constitutional rights. Additionally, Dallas attorney Tim Powers said, "We think we have a good case here. ISD and the teachers wantonly endanger these children. They're talking to these young and impressionable children about superheroes. Superheroes on film fly and fight crime. What if one of them decides to leap out of a 10th floor window thinking he or she can fly? I think the omen is obvious." Well, there you go. As we have talked about with regarding to these new face masks they're smart face masks. They remind you how to wear them correctly and alert your smartphone and maybe the government's alert system that you're not wearing it. The World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab asserts in his book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, that the world will never return to normal. Schwab also made it clear that transhumanism is an integral part of the Great Reset when he said that the fourth industrial revolution would lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identity, which in his book he clarifies as an implantable microchip that can read your thoughts. And you have no clue, most of you, what this is all about and what's coming up. But it's coming. It's coming. All right, once again, reiterating our top story this evening, Disney arrests its own guests for refusing to wear masks while allowing pedophilia to run rampant in their theme parks. And it is continuing. More arrests have taken place. This will not be the last of it. Disney is making excuses for these people, and they're getting away, literally, with murder. All right, coming up next, it's the Dark Outpost Inner Circle. And joining us in the Dark Outpost Inner Circle this evening, as he does every Wednesday night, is Dr. James Fetzer, Jim the Conspiracy Guy. And we're going to be talking about a number of different issues I think that you're going to really enjoy. Well, the conversation is quite serious, but we've got to talk about, I think we're going to probably touch on the Derek Chauvin case, George Floyd and all that stuff. I'm sure we're going to talk about COVID. I'm sure we're going to talk about a number of different issues. Look, folks, if you are not already a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle, you need to be, because if you're not, you're missing out on great stuff like this. Just head on over to darkoutpost.tv. All right. Sign up for a 1-year membership to the Dark Outpost Inner Circle. It's only $29.99 for a 1-year membership. And then I want you to do a few other things for me. Very important. You're probably watching, if you're not already a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle, you're probably watching this portion of the program on one of our two free platforms, either BitChute, BITCHUTE, or Rumble, RUMBLE. Whichever one of those platforms you're watching us on right now, I want you to click the subscribe button and subscribe to us there. We're trying to pick up as many subscriptions as we can. And then I want you to go over to the other platform that you're not watching it on and subscribe there as well, so that you're subscribed to both platforms, even if you're only watching us on one of them. So if you're on BitChute, hit the subscribe button, head on over to Rumble, subscribe there. If you're on Rumble, hit the subscribe button, head over to BitChute, and subscribe there. Then I want you to go to a very special website. It's a very special social media platform for people that are interested in taking our country back and returning it to what the Founding Fathers envisioned. It's called modernmilitiamovement.com. That's modernmilitiamovement.com. I want you to subscribe there. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime to subscribe to modernmilitiamovement.com. And hang out there. Enjoy the conversation with patriots just like you. And then I want you to do one other thing for me. I want you to go to our flagship website, darkoutpost.com. Not to be confused with darkoutpost.tv. That's the premium pay-per-view website. I want you to go to our flagship website, darkoutpost.com. And I want you to scroll down the right side of the page till you come to the Send in Blue newsletter. And I want you to pop your email address in there and subscribe to our Send in Blue email blast. All right? And then when you've done all that, I want you to email me. I want you to email me a copy of your receipt for your 1-year subscription to the Dark Outpost Inner Circle at darkoutpost.tv, plus the usernames that you used to sign up for BitChute, Rumble, and modernmilitiamovement.com, plus the email address that you used to subscribe to our Send in Blue newsletter. I want you to email all of that together to this email address, darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. That's darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. And in return, I'm going to send you back one of two things, your choice. You're either going to get the original Bundle Plus 25 reports on the scourge of pedophilia and child sex trafficking taking place here in the United States and around the world, and how you can do something to stop it. Now, we have reports on the Clintons. We have reports on the Podestas. We have reports on the Bush pedogate empire. Yeah, it's not all Democrats involved in this, mostly, but there are some Republicans too. As a matter of fact, a very credible reporter by the name of Liz Crokin has stated that up to 1/3 of the people in the United States federal government right now are involved in pedophilia and child sex trafficking. Now, that means that 2/3 of the people are not, but of those 2/3, 1/3 of them are actively doing something to put an end to it, and the other third are either winking and nodding at it or looking the other way and ignoring it. We need to reach that third that are sitting on the fence. We also have reports on the military-industrial complex, people like John Brennan and Michael Aquino, people in the business community like Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. The entertainment industry. We have an entire report on the Disney pedogate empire. You're going to want this report. It goes into a lot more detail than I was able to discuss tonight. We also have reports on the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. We have reports on all denominations of Christianity and other religions as well, and their involvement in pedophilia and child sex trafficking. We also have reports on the European royals and their human hunting parties, which we alluded to earlier. We also have reports on how you can put an end to this in your community, how to protect your children from predators both online and in society. And we have a very special report on how to navigate the dark web. And we give you the tools that you need to be able to navigate the dark web safely. Stay away from all that bad stuff that we talked about, but to be able to research legitimate news sources that you're not going to find on the regular World Wide Web, so that you can keep abreast of all of the information. Now, in this Bundle Plus reports, it's comprised of thousands of hours worth of research, hundreds of pages worth of documents, profusely illustrated with links and trackbacks and all of the information you need to share with your family, your friends, your coworkers, just about anybody that'll listen. All right? You want that. Or we will send you the Bundle 2. The Bundle 2 consists of a complete Pedogate 2020 update. Everything that happened regarding Pedogate in 2020. All of the 5 million children that were arrested from underground tunnels. The hundreds of people that were arrested and will be sent to Guantanamo Bay to be tried for their heinous crimes. We have reports on all of the deep underground tunnels, well over 800 of them in the United States, where these kids were being abused. We have reports on doppelgangers and lookalikes. We have reports on how you can protect your children again from more of these predators. We also have reports on Well, the biggest report that we have, and everybody seems to want this right now, everybody seems to want this, is the Guantanamo Bay list. It's a list of everyone that's been arrested and taken to Guantanamo Bay and is either awaiting trial or has had their trial, who is either on trial and awaiting conviction, who is either convicted and waiting execution, or who's been executed. We've got it all as part of the Guantanamo Bay list. All right, you're going to want that. Our latest report, which we just added on satanic cults and the famous people in our society who are associated with those satanic cults. I think we have one other brand new report on the Black Eye Club. That's what it is, the Black Eye Club, which we did a little bit of research on. What is the Black Eye Club? How do you become a member of the Black Eye Club? What do you got to do to get that punch in the eye, as it were, become a member of the Black Eye Club, another secret society? Oh, we've got it all as part of the bundle too. So if you missed any of what you have to do to get either the bundle plus or the bundle 2, just rewind this video, good portion of it, watch it again, write it down, get a pen and paper about everything you need, because you have to provide me all of this information in order for you to get either the bundle plus or bundle 2. Once you've got all that information together, email it to darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. That's darkoutpostdocuments, all one word, at gmail.com. And in the subject line of your email, you request either the bundle plus or the bundle 2. You tell me which of the 2 reports you want, the bundle plus or the bundle 2. We send them to you as a zip file, so you're going to need a free unzipping program like 7-Zip for Windows or iZip for Mac to open that file and then look at all of the documents inside there. A treasure trove of information. You are going to want to have it. Now, if you are not a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle and become a member, again, you do that plus the other things that I instructed you to do and email all of that to me at darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. You're going to get one of the 2 bundles, the one that you request. But let's say you want them both. Let's say you want the other bundle as well. How do you get that? All you got to do to get the other bundle that you didn't get for signing up for darkoutpost.tv is to go to our flagship website, darkoutpost.com. Scroll down the right side of the page till you come to the donate button. Click that donate button. Make a donation to us of $30 or more. Again, a portion of which goes to Shared Hope International, the organization that we support, that's doing everything in their power to put an end to pedophilia and child sex trafficking here in the United States and around the world. Email me a copy of the receipt for your donation to the same email address, darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. That's darkoutpostdocuments, all one word, at gmail.com. And in the subject line of that email, just put in the bundle that you're requesting for that $30 donation. So if you already got the bundle 2, just put bundle plus. If you asked for the bundle plus the first time around, bundle 2. All right, to get the other one. That's all there is to it. It's real easy. Just that easy, just that quick. And you'll have all of this information. And we constantly are updating these bundles, and you get more information available to you. This is what we're trying to do, is to educate as many people as possible about the scourge of pedophilia and child sex trafficking taking place here in the United States and around the world, and how you can put an end to it and stop it. All right? Coming up next, for those of you that are Dark Outpost Inner Circle members, Dr. James Fetzer will be joining us. For those of you who are not, please head on over to darkoutpost.tv and sign up right now. Again, for those of you who are Dark Outpost Inner Circle members, stand by. Dr. James Fetzer is next.